Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome to the Gecko Exchange Podcast Network.
All right, love that energy. All right, we got some returning guests again. Love having these people on. Jake, Jeff, how are you guys doing?
Yeah,
Doing
we're
good. Got plenty of geckos hatching out.
Yeah. So, how is your guys' season going?
It's going really well. We've just caught our first with Ryan Leaf tail geckos hatched out
Today,
Just saw that.
ago.
Yeah, just saw that post. Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
So that's nice. He's a lovely little fella
yeah.
or girl. Well, I hope
Girl.
it's a girl because they always want girls, don't you? You know.
All right. So, what else have you guys been hatching out lately?
Yeah, we got like the Agrophora, keep patching out.
That's Condodactylus
Got
agrophora.
like Agrophora, lots of Macrolepis.
We've been quite successful with the Pachydactylus as well. Pachydactylus punctatus. That's another Pachydactylus type gecko.
It's like a micro species. It's really
Yeah.
tiny, but
It's quite rare. There's not many people with them.
um,
We've been really Condodactylus punctatus.
yeah, done then.
Yeah. Viper
Got a few of
geckos.
them
Pictus
Aptos
geckos.
hatched out as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So we got some. What do you say?
We'll have the Pine Island Valari Eurodactodes. They have like a brick red stripe down the back.
Okay.
Had a few of them hatch out and figure out. Every gecko has little tweaks, didn't they? So we're just figuring out the little tweaks with them. But yeah, it's been a good season for us, really.
So what time of, like, over here, it's pretty much midsummer. Is it the same for you guys over there? Is this like the middle of your guys' summer?
Well, summer here is very odd because 1 week is boiling hot, next minute it's pouring down with rain and cloudy. It's not very consistent, our summer. So
August is the kind of end,
in the summer, kind of more rain.
more rain, but still quite warm.
But we can get boiling hot weeks, but after about a week it seems to sort of go and you don't know if that's the end or not. You don't know. It's a bit odd in UK.
Have you guys been selling a lot of animals? Have you been doing shipping? I guess my question would be, have you guys ship? Is it too hot for you guys to ship? How do you handle heat in shipping animals?
Well, we use couriers occasionally. So yeah, that's the couriers kind of deal with that. They have everything all boxed up on how it should be. So yeah,
It's much easier to do it, I think, in these sort of months than
yeah, rather than winter, because everything, if a gecko gets too cold, it's a lot harder, I think. So yeah,
Cool. It's cool to hear. Over here, it's kind of the opposite. Everybody's panicking over. I mean, most of the United States right now. It's too hot to ship. Nobody's shipping anything. If you ship an animal, you're unethical. It's.
I really.
I
Yeah.
shipped them. I shipped a couple geckos a week or two ago, and everybody got there fine. But I feel the same way. I think that you're safer. And I don't ship a lot of animals, but I mean, my logic, my common sense tells me that it's safer to ship a reptile when things are done properly as far as air and everything, when it's warmer than it is when it's cold. I mean, to send an animal when it's, 25 degrees out is a little ridiculous, but
Yeah.
Well, that is probably our summer, 25.
Oh, I can't ship in the summertime. Like right now, it says like well, not right now, but by the end of this day, it's probably gonna be like 115 outside. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, everything would be real toasty when they get to their destination.
Yeah.
I think age is really important with geckos, actually. I think under sort of a certain age,
Shipping stuff young.
we don't sell stuff because I think it's unethical to sell stuff at a young age. Under 6
Definitely.
weeks, we wouldn't really.
Yeah.
Some of the more delicate stuff, like when we were doing Ranger, we would have it nearly a year old before we sell them out because we found that they were just too delicate. So it does depend, I think, on the species as well. But you kind of know that if you keep them.
Yeah. It's usually like a good 3 months, to a year type of thing, depending on what species it is and how they handle everything. Like Chihuahuas, I'll ship them out like 3 months. Long as they're eating bugs, they have to eat bugs before I ship them out because I don't want the customer to rely on Pangea or any kind of diet to feed that gecko. It's like, no, it needs to eat bugs before it leaves. Just like, with snakes, when folks like they need to eat like 4 or 5 consistent meals before they even think about even selling it.
Yeah.
So same with me. They need to be consistently eating bugs before that they can go anywhere.
The other thing that we've had problems with in the past, and that's selling pairs and then realising actually one of them isn't a female or a male. So there's
Yeah,
some geckos that we keep that we would sell for a year old because it's just too problematical sexing them. So we sell quite a lot of Gonosaurus orientis, which is a Japanese cave gecko. They're really beautiful, but they're really awkward to actually sex till they're about a year old. So we just hold them back for a year and we sell them at a year
okay.
just for
Because
that reason.
there's nothing worse than buying a pair of geckos and they both turning out the same.
Tell me about it.
Like we've had it in the
Well,
past.
I mean, if it's 2 females, that's fine. 2 males, then we got problems.
Try 3 females. My cave geckos, I thought I was getting a group. I got 3 girls.
Hey, well,
All
at
right.
least you know they'll get along with each other. No one's gonna be ripping their tails off or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think also, I don't know if in America it's changed, but years ago people would take unsexed small babies, but there seems to be much more of an instant kind of generation maybe where they want a 1.1. They want a pair of animals. So therefore to cater to that, I think the morph markets have sort of driven that.
Oh yeah.
Is that
Sometimes
the
we do
same?
that.
Is that the same with you guys in the States?
Depending on the species, a lot of New
Yeah.
Caledonian stuff, people will openly advertise as unsexed, and people jump all over it. They're looking for a smaller animal that they'll fit into a crested gecko project somewhere. They just want the price of a hatchling versus the price of a ready to breed animal, So, I mean, that significantly changes the price over here. So, but like certain species like Jay cells, a lot of guys I feel are looking for, genders and whatnot. Or a group, or a sexed group, 1.1, 1.2, something like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, even still, I get asked like about like my chihuahuas and stuff, right? They'll ask me, "Do you have a male or female?" I'm like, "Dude, these things they're like 3 months old. I'm not sexing these things. Sorry. If I find out what sex it is, that price goes up. Do you want this price or you want the up price? So take it as this and go from there. Then go look for whatever opposite sex that you need, and but you're going to be paying a good price because you want that." Either that male or female. Like for me, whatever, just give me whatever you got, and we'll see how it balances out in the end. When I got
Well, it
stuff
was
from like John, I was like, send me 2, and he's like, I think it might be a 1.1, but I don't know. Well, send me 2, and I'll work it out later. Don't worry about it.
we was at a show once, and there was a lady there, and she was selling males and female. I think they were Eurodactyl. We said to her, "What you need to do is you need to sell them as pairs." She said, "Oh no, I sell them as males and females." I said, "Well, I wouldn't do that because at the end of the show you'll end up just with males."
Right? Yeah.
Of course, at the end of
Yeah.
the show,
She ended up all males.
she had males.
Funny story. When I first got into geckos, I was asking. I became good friends with a guy over here, Boris from BB's Crested Geckos, and he was telling me. I was like, "Why is there so many? Why are so many of these crested geckos listed as, unsexed or no pores visible?" He's like, "Hey, I'm going to teach you something." He's like, "That's how people get rid of all their males. They put them down as no pores visible, and they sell them off as untold. I promise you, 90% of them are all males." I was like, interesting. But the more time has gone by, I have absolutely found that to be true. Everything that I've ever bought is an unsexed baby, ironically grew up to be a male. These guys that are breeding these animals, that have these crazy collections, they're sexing those geckos at 5 grams, with a loop. They know what they are. All of a sudden, everything on this table that say $1,000 or better, you know the sex of that. But these ones over here, you don't know the sex of. Like, seems a little skeptical. He was like, it's a gimmick. He said it's a known gimmick, man. It's what people do. They don't want to sell it as a male or a female because it's not desirable in a sense to any one particular project. So they just put it down and make the people believe they're taking a gamble. It could be a male, it could be a female. I don't know. But you're selling it because it's what you don't want.
Yeah, there is a real issue with some geckos like that. And we see it as unethical, so we'd sell it for what
Absolutely.
the sex is. But the other end of the spectrum, which I think is really people have got to be aware of, is often people will sell pairs of geckos, and what they are, they're burnt out. You're buying grandma and granddad, you're buying OAP geckos,
Yeah.
and then you're expecting them to breed like rabbits, like they're 20-year-olds. It doesn't happen. Sometimes you've got to be a bit sceptical about that as well. And that's unless you know the person, and we kind of go off people that we know and we trust. And I
Definitely.
think that getting that level of trust with people is really important.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Often, if you
we
see a
definitely
gecko
got
for a cheap
a few
price,
folks
it's
like
for a
that out
reason.
here.
So,
The horror stories, people buy ready to breed animals that have never bred before, but yet they never end up breeding. I hear a lot about it with chihuahuas. People will buy adult chihuahuas and they're allegedly ready to breed, but they never wind up breeding. I mean, it almost makes me think, like, are those like old retired animals? Like, are they just like?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I know one prominent person that theoretically he does that. I've heard plenty of stories about a lot of his stuff. So I was like, I always tend to stay away from that stuff. Like whenever I see his stuff posted on Morph Market, I'm like, oh, nope, next, because he'll have tons of them. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. So,
but you
Here's
see, I
that with
don't
the
think
leaf
there's anything.
tails. A lot with the leaf tails. People, when I first started getting into leaf tails, I don't remember who exactly it was, but I was watching a video and he was like, if you're buying leaf tails, the odds of you finding ready to breed adults are slim to none. You're going to find babies. If someone's looking to sell you a ready to breed adult leaf tail gecko, there's a problem. You buy them babies. Nobody's selling an adult that's ready to breed if there's not a problem. You buy juveniles that aren't old enough to breed, or you're buying babies. It's or it's wild caught. If someone's trying to sell you an adult, there's something up. Breed more into what's going on.
I think you've got to be really aware of wild caught stuff. Of course, we was in Turkey probably about 5 years ago, and we saw some European chameleons, wild caught, and these things look really bashed about. They've obviously been attacked by birds and rats and other predators that tried to predate on them, and you could tell they weren't in pristine condition like our geckos or chameleons are. They look really beaten up with bits missing, and when you see animals like that and they're selling them as captured bred, are they?
Sure.
yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into these. What's the Latin on these? Is Pachydactylus macrolepis?
Well, we pronounce it Macrolepis, but I always feel like that's
Okay.
probably wrong.
We're not very good at. We're both dyslexic, so we're not very good at pronouncing things.
All right. But the common name is what? Large scale banded gecko, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
All right,
common
cool.
name.
All
So
right.
Macropelius. So it's Macrolepis. I've got to sneeze.
Yeah.
Do you
So
guys
where
have
did
any
these
pictures of those on your website? Can we pull up a picture of them?
pull one up right now?
Yeah,
Well,
let
not
me
on.
show the people what these things look like. So I'm not sure I've ever seen one.
Let me share.
These aren't like the fish scale geckos, right? They call them fish scale geckos.
No.
So
These are like a fairly.
yeah, that's a very. I saw these pictures today, but they're coming out as quite light,
Yeah.
aren't they? Especially that one at the top.
Yeah, top left. That's like what they normally look like.
The browns we found slightly darker than that.
Yeah.
Well, what's really interesting with these is when you pick them up and you look at them, you see the black around like where the light brown meets the dark brown. There's like a black line.
Mm-hmm.
If you can see on that photo, what's really interesting when you pick these geckos up, that black becomes like really like prominent. It almost looks like a cartoon kind of black has been drawn on this gecko. The more awake they get, it's quite striking actually. They really, I wouldn't say these fire up, but the black becomes blacker the more they wake up.
We got any on our Just Geckos Facebook?
Yeah, there might be some on our Instagram page maybe.
Hmm.
I gotta. I can't even do my Instagram on this thing anymore until I figure out I got a new laptop, so I got to figure out all my passwords.
Yeah, I know the
Yeah.
way. Always the
Yeah.
way.
All right.
So this species are from South Africa, aren't they?
Yeah, they're South African.
South Africa. So yeah, they're nice.
So we kept 5 types of Pachydactylus. We kept the Rugosia, we kept range eye, about 11 years, 3 generations of range eye we did. We've got the Macrolepis, we've got the Tigris and Pachydactylus. But
And
today we're going to concentrate on
There you go.
that's the Pachydactylus. Is that ours?
yeah, that's our phone.
Yeah, that's ours,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. The
Is this one?
no, that's the Nibosia. Keep scrolling down. Keep going. Put a photo on in ages. Oh look, there he's on top of the
On
plant
the
lid.
plant pot. That's
These ones?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now I see. They look much darker. The contrast is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a adult pair right there.
Yeah, they're adult.
Yeah, I think you can get the size from that milk bottle lid there.
Yeah, so they're
Yeah.
not a massive species.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very small.
Super tame.
Yeah.
Really tame species.
So you can pick them up
Okay.
quite easily in your hand, and they would just sort of move about a little bit, won't they?
Yeah.
They get you up when you spray them. They look dead when you look at them in the tank. Sometimes they're just laying there, and you think, "Oh, no, it's dead," and then because it's in a deep sleep, and they take a while to wake up, don't they?
Yeah, like, especially the babies, they really sprawl their legs out, so they all lay completely flat on the floor with their arms like.
Because you think it's because like they're trying to absorb as much heat as possible?
Yeah, definitely. But when you first, it's always like every time you look in there, you're like, oh no, it's dead, and then you're like, oh no, it's not dead. You're like,
Can you guys give us a little bit of natural history about these guys? Maybe where they're from, where people find them, what they're doing in the wild, or what you know about them in the wild?
Well, there's not that much information on them, full stop. You know, like we got these from one guy that managed to get them
from somewhere.
There's not many people in Europe with them, to be honest.
So we don't really know much about them. We just know that they're from South Africa.
Yeah.
And I haven't, but to be honest, I would say
they come from Botswana as well, and
but I wouldn't say
springbok.
I wouldn't say that they're a species that I've really studied the natural history of too deep, because there isn't like no, when you just like do a quick like search and you try to read stuff about them, I couldn't really find much, so I just kind of went off what our friend told us, and we kind of learnt a little bit the hard way with them.
Do you want to talk about how we keep them?
I think we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah.
It's still amazing though that there's animals in this hobby, right, that you can have as a pet that people really don't know much about in the wild. Like that's amazing to me. You think most things like you figure out their lifestyles and cycles and habits in the wild, and then decide it's an animal worth having in captivity. It's like some of these animals it's completely not. Like we see something that's rare, we're just gonna take it and we'll figure it out later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can definitely still get some kind of information. Like you said, just go to because one of those pictures that I brought up was from iNaturalist. So you can look at the background and see what's going on in the background to kind of get those ideas that you would need. And then, I mean, like you said, then you go to your weather app. All right, plug in those coordinates that you found on iNat. All right, where's this at? Now you got what's their highs, what's their lows, and kind of seeing where like where they come from. Are they out in the open? Are they always hiding? And so then you can kind of figure out, all right, what's my ambient heat need to be, or my ambient temps, and then what kind of hotspot I need for these ones, and then what kind of substrate and all that good stuff. You can get a lot from a picture, and it's just depending on the person. If you're a person that's going to really dig deep and really be observant, you're going to get a lot just from one single picture. And then there's other people like, well, I need more information. I need to read some stuff. So we all try to learn differently, and it's all about how you observe what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we try to keep them as simple as we can, because we found that works for most gecko species, haven't we, over the years?
Yeah, I think that I think for a lot of geckos is people tend to overthink how to keep stuff in the terrarium, overcomplicate the tanks. put too much stuff in, and I think actually going back to like really simple ways of keeping stuff. Like, I'm not saying like keep stuff on paper towel, because that's not what we do, but making tanks really simple. You know, like I've said before in like podcasts, that I use a lot of plastic like spray can lids. And what we do a lot of the time is we would like use like spray can lids for a lot of our stuff. Just for geckos that need humidity, it's a really simple thing to do. But yeah, I think with them, well, all geckos keep them really simple.
Especially when you have a lot of them, right? I mean, simplicity is what makes doing everything achievable, right? If you have 300 geckos, I mean, you kind of need to streamline the operation and the process, and it doesn't mean that it's, you know, taking anything away from the animals' needs. They still have everything they need, you know, and it's makes perfect sense. I mean, I commend you guys, and that's awesome.
I think one of the big problems with bioactive tanks, like, they look nice, and I understand you probably want to do that if you've got poison arrow frogs and things like that. But when you come to geckos, what you want is the gecko to find the food quickly and be able to eat it and quickly, so that it can eat what's the nutrients you put in the cricket, and you gut loaded it, and the dust on the cricket. So we found that actually keep things quite simple means that they can get to their food and get the vitamins and the gut loading on the crickets quick.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I love Macrolepis. I mean, it's an arid gecko, but it's arboreal, and all you gotta do is have a bunch of different branches, and it looks all nice and shit. But I mean, it's simple as all hell. I do a little 50-50 mix of, or like 75-25 sand to dirt, and then a bunch of branches, just different diameters, UV and heat. Like my main thing is making sure I have proper UV and proper heat. Everything else kind of just falls in place. I mean, they're savages. They throw crickets in the dirt, boom, they're on them.
We used
like what my Pachydactylus, it's a little bit different. It's I got it. It's not a bioactive, but it's a large tank with a bunch of different branches, but has the soil in there, and they lay everywhere, so they won't have like an actual lay site. And that's one of those hard things that I'm learning. Like with these ones that don't want to use a lay bin, it's like just trying to find eggs. Like my Goniasaurus haniensis, they just lay wherever. The Pachydactylus sakava, they lay wherever. The Pachydactylus striatus, they kind of lay wherever they want. Only ones that have like a bio and everything like that, my Pachydactylus zebricus, she lays consistently under one spot, and I made it that way. So I put like a little log or like a flat piece of cork bark right in the front, so she could go in there and just lay her eggs. And she's laid probably like 3 or 4 clutches in that same area. So it's just trying to figure out a good balance, between having a decent tank, or even if you're using a bin, like I said, my Goniasaurus are in bins, my Pachydactylus nebulosus and Triitis, they're both in bins, but they're all bioactive as well, to a certain point. Like I don't have like this, I just have springtails. I don't have like isopods or anything in there.
Oh, nice. Well, one way you could do it is for geckos, especially like the cave geckos that lay pretty much anywhere, is if you just like put one side of the tank really kind of like shallow in the substrate, and then build it up. Because like we do that for some of our gonnies, and that just basically forces them to lay their eggs in
one side of the tank.
Yeah.
And it's probably 5 inches deep on one side. So it's sloped quite a bit.
You're kind of forcing the gecko to lay the eggs kind of where you want, so you're not looking everywhere.
But I guess there's different strategies, and I think you really need to look at the geckos, where they come from, so what you need for them. Like you go back to the tendercudas, I used to have a feeding dish, and when they saw me, they used to run down the branch to the feeding dish, and they used to like glare at me like, "Come on."
Yeah.
And I never had a gecko that's been like
my
that.
Stropharis do that too. Like as soon as I walk past it and I open it, she's looking at me like, "Come on, bring the food. Let's go. It's like, I know you're about to." She's like, "I water." She knows first thing I do is get her water, dump it in her lay bin. Then I start filling it up, and she's looking, all right, and then she's looking at me. She's like, all right, where's the food? Where's the food? Where's the food? And I start throwing the food in, and she is all on them. Yeah. So definitely, I know that what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think the important thing is some geckos have a much greater level of intelligence, and that's really interesting to see. Some geckos are really dumb, and some geckos are really smart.
Macrolepis are not that clever.
Not that clever. No,
That's okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So let's kind of get into for a essential habitat in captivity. What are some of those? What are some of those essentials for keeping the Macrolepis?
I would say
for the adults first.
Well, yeah, for the adults, like we just keep them on a heat pad.
Just temperature control.
Just temperature control, but nice and hot. I mean, temperatures between 35 in like middle daytime to what, like 26 like at night. But then because they're from the desert, they do need quite a drop at night.
We did keep them when we had them. We put them higher up in the room, and the temperature at night didn't drop below 24.
24,
and we found that they struggled to breed that year. So we actually put them lower down in the room and gave them a better nighttime drop.
Yeah, that's it.
Which I think is really essential for desert geckos. But I think a lot of people, if you've got no control in your room, at night the room is still hot. And that can become a bit problematical for some desert geckos because they need that drop at night.
Yeah. I think our stats set to like the lowest is like 17 degrees. Like probably only gets to like 18-ish. But having that drop at night is really important for pretty much any desert species.
Well, I've definitely found it for the Macrolepis.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like other things as well is they're not really... Well, I would say at first I thought they weren't a climby gecko, but it turns out the adults climb a little bit, not too much, but the babies, well, they can climb out pretty much like rubs without any issues. If you got a little hole, they'll climb up and escape and never be seen again. Yeah, but we found sellotape works really well. So if you put sellotape around the top, they can't really grip it too well. So it just kind of stops them a little bit. So yeah, like we just keep them really simple. Just plant pots, broken plant pots.
Keep them in a flat Exoterra, don't we?
Yeah, like a large flat Exoterra, I think they call it.
Okay. Oh, what's the diameters on those exos that you're using?
Probably 40 centimetres by
bit wider than that.
20, and probably about 15 high, about that high.
So 40 centimetres wide,
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not, I wouldn't say they're a gecko that need lots of space because they're not that territorial.
They're often together.
Together. Just keep them really simple. Like on the hot side, we literally put enough sand to just cover the floor. Then on the damp side, probably only 1.5 inches.
And we've got a lot of plant pots in there, haven't we?
Yeah,
about 6 or 8 plant pots.
Yeah, like broken terracotta
so they
pots.
can get inside there.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of space for them to move around and not see each other, I guess.
So how many are you putting in this one Exoterra? Do they do well in colony settings, or are they not that kind of gecko?
We've only tried them in pairs, if I'm being really honest. I've not tried putting more females in, or I just think they're such a gecko that I don't want to risk losing any.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and like all the babies, I don't know why. I think sometimes you just get instinct with geckos, but I just don't feel like as babies they would do well together.
Mm-hmm.
The babies struggle enough on their own eating the food.
Yeah.
So I think in a group setting it would be very easy for one gecko to get bullied and die quite quickly.
Okay.
But it's weird because as adults they really smash the food. But with babies, until they really reach probably just over 1 inch, like total length, like body, over like an inch, over 1 inch, they're quite delicate for them first like couple of weeks. But once they're over that size, they're completely fine. They smash the food, no problem.
What are you feeding them when they're that small? Just baby crickets, pin?
Yeah, micros.
And we probably feed them 4 micros every other day when they're small.
It's like little things, even if like a big cricket
Or cricket gets too big.
Cricket gets too big, they completely stop eating because they just get scared.
Well, that's quite common with geckos, isn't it? So,
yeah. But with the adults, they can take quite big crickets.
And they look quite like mealworms as well, don't they, the adults?
Yeah, the adults we give like a food dish in there also.
Not so keen on cockroaches.
No, nothing really likes cockroaches.
Well, only a few cockroaches.
Problems are so easy to breed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Truth, man. I have more roaches than I know what to do with now because, ironically, everything I keep kind of just stops eating them, man. I don't really I have a couple chihuahuas that'll take a roach, but everything kind of just grew out of, and I don't know why. I really don't, but it's like collectively my whole collection decided they were gonna, boycott roaches. Everybody just wants crickets or superworms or crickets. I mean, now I have thousands of roaches, and I have nothing to eat. My bearded dragons eat them.
We found that we sometimes put them in just to see if they will eat them, and sometimes they will eat them because they're different. So we still kind of try to persist. So sometimes we got like a feeding dish in there as well with the adults, and we'll put mealworms, and I sometimes put a couple of roaches in. And I think because the mealworms are in it, it produces more movement in the roaches. So I think that helps because sometimes the roaches just sort of sit there, don't they? And they don't actually move much, especially after a couple of days in there. So if you've got mealworms that are wiggling around, I think that makes them move a bit more. And therefore there's that, something moving that's a bit different.
What type of roaches are you guys feeding when you do feed them?
Just dubious.
Oh, dubious?
That's the only roaches we keep. Well, I heard too many horror stories with red runner roaches.
I don't keep them either.
Which I'm still married and I want to keep it that way.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. Yeah, man. So you're just using straight sand for this for your setups?
Yeah, like I think there's a bit of peat in there somewhere. It's just straight sand. I think what's really important with this species is they need a really heavy spray. Like when you probably be spraying 3 times a week, even as babies, like every other day. A really heavy spray is really important because if you let humidity build up in their tank and stuff like that, they just, I don't know what it is, but they're
just like the Rugosia, Pachydactylus Rugosia, just don't like humidity around. So you got to soak them, and that's why we use those Exoterra tanks because the top is very mesh.
It's all mesh.
It's all mesh.
So it's nice and
we kind of take the plastic bit out and we fill that with another bit of mesh as well. So the UV light can go through that bit because there's quite a big sort of square plastic bit in the middle. So we take that out and we put a metal mesh in there. So some of the UV light will get through to that. And we've got the UV light it's pretty much on top of the tank. It's probably about a half-inch gap. So they've got some bright UV light, and that's 14%. But of course, there are lots of, as I say, there's probably 6 or 8 these flower pots in here, or dishes that we use. And of course, because they're clay, they will absorb the water as well. So if they want to, they can sit under that. So they're not exposed to UV light if they don't want to. But we found that their requirements for UV calcium is really quite high.
Yeah, they're quite... they like quite high UV intensity, really.
So they like to bask or like maybe cryptic basking?
Yeah, I think that's more, cryptic basking.
Like stick a toe out, stick their tail out to absorb the UV or something like that?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Babies are more out, aren't they?
Yeah, the babies are more out purely because the tank's more simpler. Just like we just use 1 or maybe 2 bits of clay pot, broken up so they can hide in there. But this goes back to the humidity thing. Is last season we had quite a few that died because we put a mesh tank, netting,
netting,
netted,
curtain netting.
like over the tank, so the crickets wouldn't escape and all of this. And because the mesh is quite thin, and once you'd spray them, the water wouldn't evaporate quickly, so that the tank held in high humidity, or not high humidity, but like
Well,
some
like that
humidity.
condensation, right? That
Yeah,
condensation is
yeah,
just stuck on because, yeah, I understand. I do the same thing, like because I have filers and Nicola as well, but I have a some saran wrap on top of it so it could keep that humidity in. So when I spray in there like one day, I'll still see water in there for like a couple days. So definitely I understand that part right there.
Which is great for some species, but
Yeah, exactly.
fatal to others. So you got to
yeah.
know which ones it is
Exactly.
for.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But,
sometimes that's trial and error.
but
Yeah.
yeah, for them, especially with the babies, with humidity and stuff, like we spray them probably like every other day with the babies, but because it's so hot with the heat light and the UV light being so close to the tank, it just evaporates really. We've actually had, before I forget, we've actually had the babies up to in the like when it was really hot last month to about 45 degrees in their tank. Yeah, and they were fine. And that was because at night they were getting the drop. They was going like around 20. So
So how we keep the babies, Jake?
um yeah, I think well we just keep them in a little rub, bit of clay pot in there.
So that we use the exoteras, the small ones, but not the micro ones. So it's the second one up. The first one we kept them in was the one with the handles at the top, and there's a little hole there, and they can escape from that. Look, we found that.
It was really annoying.
It's just really annoying. So we tape up some of the holes on these tents because they can get through really quite small holes. But that second size tank is really ideal for them because it's got the ventilation at the top.
Yeah,
Are you housing them together, or the babies? Are you keeping them together? Do you keep them in a couple together in an enclosure?
No, we keep them all separate.
Really?
Yeah. It's quite interesting because the males as babies are quite very dominant. So like when you spray them, they'll like bark at you, and they'll
Hissy.
yeah, and they'll stretch their front right arms right out and really like puff their chest out almost.
And that's indicative of a male, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, Matt. Like even as the
Okay.
breeders, like when you spray the pair and all the pairs, that the male gets all grumpy, with the female just kind of looks at it like,
Oh, what you doing?
I mean, I feel like the
going on?
smaller the geckos, the bigger their personality. I mean, these little geckos, smaller geckos, have such huge personalities. I mean, all species of little geckos, they're just so charismatic, I guess. It's funny.
I guess
Yeah.
more things per date on them, aren't they? Because they're smaller. More
Absolutely.
things to get them in their mouth. So they've got to be a bit more feisty with it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like the babies, they can actually do a little bit of climbing. So because I was thinking about like whenever when I get mine and I start producing them, I was gonna probably just put them in like in a, let's see what I got. Oh, like probably something like this right here, and still I can still have the holes in there, but maybe put like mesh wrapping around it so
Yeah.
they won't get out, and then still mesh on the top, and then I can still
Yeah.
get the UV through it as well.
I think mesh at the top it would be great for that because
Yeah.
and then they can get the UV through it. So
Yeah.
we've got the tanks like that. We've got the heat pad underneath, the tanks on the heat pad, and then we got the UV light sort of about half an inch off of them, and that's a 14% UV light. And they seem
They
to
really like that light, then, for it to be that.
They really like that
14% that
intense.
close. They're enjoying that sun.
Yeah. And I think the babies seem to maybe suffer a bit more with calcium crashes. So we also have a milk bottle lid in there with calcium with D3.
I've never seen them lick it, but
Yeah,
Well, I mean, shit. I got a like the Pterodactylus. I got a like cuttlebone in there or something, and I rarely see them even mess with it. Like every now and then, I'll see like little bits and pieces out in the cage. Like, oh, they might have took it, or they just ran over it and flicked it out. But I've never actually seen them eat it. Like someone told me you need to have it in there, especially for the female. This is for the Zebrachus. That is almost mandatory. I was like, I've never seen them touch it, but I keep it in there just in case.
yeah, and of course the other thing is some geckos will lick calcium and others will bite it. So sometimes we use, what's that other white stuff that we bought that we put in there? Coral shell, is it?
Oyster shells.
Oyster shell.
Okay, yeah.
Or like no, like in like the bird industry, you can get like bags of like broken oyster shells or mussel shells and stuff like that. What I found with a lot of like desert species is actually mixing that in with just the sand, like the play, like normal play sand, is really good. Because one of our
Okay. friends
friends told us this. He said that you think about it, if they miss the cricket and they get a mouthful of sand, if there's some sort of calcium in there, they're then absorbing that, or the crickets are running over this constant calcium supply.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, hell, I might
Yeah,
have to start grinding up some eggshells and mixing it in with my substrate.
Yeah, like, I don't think you go wrong with it like a dish, but you got to work out if the gecko's going to lick it or bite it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's important because we have a video of on our Facebook page of a Pachydactylus rangi, and it's trying to get the calcium, and it bites the lid of the milk bottle, and
the Chronodactylus agraphora.
Pachydactylus agraphora, and it goes everywhere. But it's quite comical because they're pretty dumb as the geckos go. But he obviously wants something, but obviously doesn't quite get the idea of how to get this calcium in his
Yeah.
additional calcium. And then every night they seem to manage to bury this under 2 inches of sand somewhere in the tank. But we try to give them that extra bit of calcium as well, and give it to them in this crushed shell, and so it's like a grit that's, I think, slightly easier for them. Yeah.
Go ahead, Ant.
So you since you're misting and you have all these other, no water dish, right? You're not using a water dish of any sort.
No.
I was talking to someone last night, I think, and they had the rangy eye, and he was saying how his they soak. He has them. They soak in water dishes. So it had me thinking if any other species of geckos or these smaller geckos did that, but
I know my nebulosus, they'll soak in their water dish.
Really? See, I don't have anything that would do that, but
yeah.
It's cool.
I think the thing about the ranger, as I said, we kept them for, I think, about 10 years. And they got no concept of climbing up. So you can leave, if it's got a lip of 40 mil, so they can't get over it, they're too dumb to work out the doors are open in the tank. It's really, really odd. And they will not climb things. So they always go downwards, because if you think in the wild, they're on the dunes, they will dig deep. They will dig. They're diggers. They're going down. So we found that when we gave them water, we put a water dish in with the hatchlings in the incubator tank. What's it? I'm trying to say egg box. Yeah. And we found a ranger baby actually drowned, and it was in 2 millimeters of water. And you sit and think, how dumb are you, mate? So I think with ranger, I think the key for them is damp sand, because I think they absorb moisture through their skin. Their skin is very, very delicate. And even if you try to shed their skin off them, you'll kill them like that. So they need to absorb moisture through misting. And when they want to shed their skin, a bit like the Pachydactylus, they will go in the sand and they will use the sand to take the skin off. And they will also eat sand that's damp, the ranger, to get moisture.
I have to admit, that's one thing with the Macrolepis that we've not seen. They don't behave like that. They wouldn't eat damp sand or anything.
Or lick it, yeah.
But they would just normally just sit underneath these terracotta pots if they've still got a bit of humidity in there. They just sit under that.
We never had a shed skin.
No, never. And they don't bury themselves or dig. They're not that kind of species. They're not like a burrowing species at all.
So what about their eggs now? Are they laying under those the flower pots, the terracotta? What are their breeding habits? Some observations you've made with them laying eggs and whatnot.
With the eggs, they don't bury their eggs. It's really odd. So they will literally just lay the eggs wherever they want. They're never consistent with it. They're never like, oh, I'm going to.
They're always in a flower pot, aren't they?
Yeah, they're always under some cover somewhere, but they're never consistently in the kind of same area.
There's no attempt to bury them, is there?
No, there's never an attempt to
They
bury
probably
them.
have a high incubation temperature then, no? If they're laying them on a surface like that and they're out in the open, I mean, you probably incubate them pretty high.
Well, we incubate ours at probably like 33 to about 28 degrees.
2 in the day.
32 in the day, 28 at night. Because at that kind of range, we kind of end up 50-50 most of the time. It was last year we ended up with more females because our incubator, because with this air conditioning unit, it kind of mucked up our incubation process a little bit.
It's a bit too cold.
It was a bit too cold. So I think with them, it's the cooler temperatures you'll produce females, hotter temperatures you'll produce males.
It's early days, really, with it all.
Yeah.
Breeding. How many years have we been breeding these?
Bred them last year, the year
Yeah.
before. Or was it last year? I can't actually remember.
I think this is our second year.
Second year, I
third
think.
year. I don't know.
Second or third. Yeah, I can't remember.
So how are you setting them up for incubation?
Really simple. So I kind of I use sharp sand. It's like a horticultural sharp sand, and I don't know quite. I need to actually figure out what I actually bought because it reminds me of it's quite limestoney, so it really absorbs water really quick, and it changes color when it does it. So it's really
like
helpful.
Hatcherite, like calcis something clay. It's like a clay.
Yeah.
I think it's horticultural grit we got.
Yeah, horticultural. Yeah, it's
That's what
like
I used to. Yeah, it's like a kind of like the Hatcherite stuff, right? Like a when it gets
like
wet,
that,
it gets
a bit
darker.
heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit heavier than Hatcherite, hence why we like it, because, well, we're both quite clumsy, so the amount of egg tubs we've knocked over. So what we found is if you use, like, sharp sand, you fill the bottom, like, an inch thick. It means that it's a really sturdy tub that you can't knock over. And then I literally just put the eggs straight in, like a milk bowl lid, just by the colour to distinguish what they are from. Just in play sand. I tried with perlite, like dried perlite, but I found for the eggs it was a bit too fiddly and it weren't really that necessary for them because they're quite a sturdy egg, a bit like a viper gecko. You could almost pick it up. I remember I actually dropped one not too long ago.
Did you?
I did. on the carpet, and it didn't break. What I thought was quite good, really, for the geckos. And I literally just put them just on top of the surface, and then I get like a big dish, like round dish, probably only like this big, so like 3-4 inches diameter.
About that high.
Yeah, about 1.5 inches deep. Fill that with perlite, and I wouldn't say 50-50, but
there's a little bit of moisture.
There's a little bit of moisture, but not loads. So I put that in the container, like in the Stuart box, and then if I ever notice humidity building up on the side of the tank or this sand changing colour, I'll take the damp perlite out.
We'll start again.
And then let it dry out completely, and then reintroduce it back in. Basically I try to keep it as dry as possible, but with a bit of humidity. And as soon as there's any humidity build up, I just take the pot out and let it dry out completely. So,
what's their laying season? Do they lay year round, or they have like a designated time where they lay more than others, or what are their laying habits?
They're slowing up now.
So sort of March time they start laying, don't they?
Yeah, March time they start laying, and then now they're slowing up. I reckon we'll maybe get a clutch.
So March to August.
Yeah, but they're quite prolific.
Oh, so how many clutches do you usually get in a season?
I don't know.
I reckon
come on, Jake, you gotta pay attention to this stuff, man.
I know this year's been crazy with this stuff.
10, I reckon.
10.
That'd be.
Oh wow, okay.
Well, they're laying more than every 30 days. They're probably laying every 20 days, 20 something days.
Yeah, it's weird because last year they didn't lay as much. I think they only laid 8 clutches last year, 6 or 8 clutches.
Also, I guess the first year, so they're going to lay less, and then they're going to have a few more prolific years. And then tail off a little bit, I guess.
It'll be interesting to see if what they're like next year, because obviously both pairs have done quite well with the clutches. So it'll be interesting to see next year if they have a bad year, or they carry on.
But they're a smashing gecko because although they do climb a bit, they're not really that arboreal, but they are so calm, so you can pick them up, a bit like Diplodatylus species, like a bit like the ranger. They're not mad running around geckos. You can pick them up, put them on your hand, and they will. Or sometimes you can pick them up, and I've never known a gecko you can do it well, except for the ranger eye. You can actually pick them up from their side and move them. So you don't pick them up like that. And loads of geckos would, and run away. But they're so docile, you can actually do that,
Yeah.
which is unusual because obviously that action is a bird's going to eat me kind of. Most geckos won't allow you to do that, but they will.
Yeah.
So would you say they make good pets? Would you suggest these guys for pets for someone that's, say, just getting into reptiles? Or would these be one of the species you would suggest people try their hands with, or are they a little more expert class?
I would say, personally, I think purely just because there isn't much in the hobby of them yet, then probably not. But realistically, if you're like, say, if you're like in between, like, you've done your leopards, you've done your cresteds, all of that, and you want something a bit different, they are actually a really good species because they're quite, like I say, they're very simple to keep. Not that complicated, really. So yeah, they're quite a nice pet, but they're not very interactive. Like I could see how you could get bored of them because they're not running around hunting, or it's only once you spray them you get them excited.
I always feel like people have the difficulty of like, especially with an arid gecko, where you can't you can't deck it out with all these crazy plants, not make it like, because people like jungles. People love jungles for some reason. No, I love my arid stuff. The more simple, the simplicity of it is more beautiful for me, right? Like if you go to the actual desert, what is it? It's just dirt. There might be a few plants here and there, but it's just a bunch of sand everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
those are the things I go towards when I'm looking at the stuff that I want. I was gonna ask you. So, how long does it take for these to hatch per clutch?
For about 60 days, and they're not that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that Stropheris range.
Yeah, I think that's sort of standards time. Like the other thing also, because these are quite rare, we try to sell these to people that know what they're doing. And so we try to sell them to other people that we know that are breeders.
Yeah.
We wouldn't necessarily show them to Joe Public, if you see what I mean. We want to sell them to people that we know and trust and think actually they can make a good go at this.
Because once they get established, then
maybe then we start releasing them more to Joe Public. What's really important with sort of geckos that are rare or coming new into the hobby is to get them introduced into the hobby so we don't lose them.
Yeah, you want to get them established.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility. You guys have a big responsibility. I mean, that's you guys are like single-handedly doing that, right? You're establishing a species in captivity. You have to be super particular with who you get them to and their intentions. I mean, that's a big responsibility. I commend you guys. That's
it's all part of it, but it's all.
That's why we've got the pictures geckos. You see, have a go with them. They're simple, they're easy, they're cheap. Yeah, and that's why we would. That's one of the reasons we like them as a beginner's gecko, very much so. And these are a little bit more specialist, so we're kind of a bit more hesitant or particular who we'd sell them to. And we think that's the right thing to do with something that's new. Because we're all about trying to get new geckos into the hobby and get them sort of people breeding them
and established.
It's sad days when you see geckos actually disappear from the hobby because they bothered to breed them or could breed
especially
them.
when they're not coming back, and you can't just get them imported again. It's done. It's done.
Exactly.
I've been talking about this for the last month with everybody I talked to on the podcast. It's a huge responsibility. I mean, if there's an animal here and you're working with it, I mean, it's sad when I guess what I'm getting is when someone has, like, say there's 2 or 3 pairs of a species left in the hobby and you just want to get rid of them and you don't know who they're going to, or you let that species die off and they're not coming back. I mean, it's sad. It's sad because, your grandchildren, your children, I mean, people will never have the opportunity to hold them again unless they take a trip to these animals' native range. And It's a big responsibility that I think people seriously overlook, you know, keeping animals established and healthy within a hobby. They do it with plants, right? Even certain plants are no different. Certain plant species, people stop cultivating, people stop growing, and you can't just go out to the jungle and get them and find them and bring them back in. I mean, and it's a huge responsibility.
Yeah, so I think what's really important with animals like this is keeping holdbacks and keeping some back, and keeping those geckos going. So that's something that we will do. We won't sell everything. You keep some back and try and breed up different bloodlines and that. I think they're quite restricted in bloodlines because I don't think there's that many in the actual hobby.
Yeah, I was about to ask that too. Like, because you said you guys have how many pairs you have?
We got 2 pairs, but I know that they're from 4 different bloodlines.
Okay.
So
yeah, that's good.
So they're good bloodlines, you see.
And they're probably like the ones we got were probably like F2.
So you could even breed them for a season and then switch pairs if you had to, take your man. Then now you have more. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, that's the plan. But our friend kind of struggled a little bit, didn't he? Last year.
Yeah. Well, I think when you struggled breeding them, to be honest,
because he was saying about the repechés with the high count. They're in the big tubs they come in
with the banjay rock gecko lizard on the side.
Yeah, it's the high count.
High count.
He was saying that there was a batch number that he was convinced was like duff. I can't remember what batch number it was now, but he was saying that he put his bad season down to that. What's interesting, because we had a similar batch and that stuff clumps up really quick.
Yeah.
And that normally when the repechés clumps up, it's not as good.
We think they sort of passed its sell by day.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting what he said about that.
Sure.
Just about supplements going bad and how that can really affect your season.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. If they're laying as calcified eggs, as you're saying, these eggs are that calcified, I'd imagine that calcium is a significant element in these things' lives. It's.
Dude,
they get big calcium sacs.
Just about to ask that too.
Yeah, sorry.
Is it the female, or do both the male and female get calcium sacs?
Just the females. But they do get quite. They do get quite big, especially like in the winter time. Mm-hmm. When they because they're building up all through the winter that calcium,
building that reserve now. I said building those reserves up for breeding season, right? Yeah,
definitely. Like now, the females have got slight calcium sacs, but not as good because it's near the end of the season.
Yeah,
kind of depleted all her calcium. That's why we kind of swear blind by this 14% UV, just because.
Yeah, so I think calcium is an issue. Last year when we had probably 50% deaths on them, we're not sure if it was the humidity or the calcium. Yeah. So we've got UV light this time because there's no netting and they can actually get the UV light. We're putting additional calcium in the sand. We're giving them pots of calcium and D3, and we feel that actually the key to them is calcium. And of course, when you're feeding them, that's why we've got to feed the baby so often. Obviously, because if you feed them twice a week, you'll probably put 8 crickets in there, but they'll eat 2 or 3, and then the time they eat number 8, there's no calcium on the cricket.
You've already sprayed them.
And also, obviously, surface to volume ratio on crickets. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah.
Basically, the surface of a cricket. If you feed them 2 small crickets, they got a bigger surface area, so that you can actually put more dust on them, calcium on it. So it's actually, if you need to get a lot of calcium into something, it's better to feed them smaller crickets, 2 or 3 smaller crickets than one large one.
Okay.
Because there's more calcium they're getting. So that is something that we try to do, is actually feed them kind of small crickets so they can eat more.
They eat more of them, absolutely. It makes perfect sense. Nice. I never thought about it like that. Huh.
So before, because you're talking about how you have your nighttime temps. So for before breeding starts, right now, do you put them through that whole cooling stage where you're shutting down the lights, the heat, and everything like that for a certain period of time, or you kind of just let the natural cycles of the room happen?
Well, I think naturally our room gets colder in the winter anyway.
Because we've got an aircon unit in, it's easier to control that.
Yeah, like on the floor, I think it got to like 12, 13 degrees.
More,
A bit more, what?
more like 14.
14 degrees on the like that's on the floor. But realistically, for like the winter time, these guys will kind of phase them out the summer, start dropping the temps.
In September.
September time, get them all the way down. And then by like winter time, we do 6 weeks of like a deep cool. So that'd be like 19 degrees to 16 degrees.
And that varies in whatever shelf they're on in the room.
Yeah. And varies on, and like to be honest, when we do the 6 weeks cool for most species, all the UV lights are off at this point. It's too hard to control.
Yeah.
Because
feeding? Do you feed?
Yeah, and
during this time?
we give them some crickets, but not that. Like you know, if there's like 2 or 3 crickets running around the tank, that's all we'd leave it at.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
feed them. Probably go in there once a week and make sure they've got water and check they're okay.
Yeah. And obviously, once you go into that cool, the spraying becomes a little bit more different. So you're not doing a heavy blasting of spray; you're just doing like a light mist, and then you're checking the next day to think, right, is it fully dried out yet, or?
Because obviously, with the lower temperatures, one of the issues that you can face is if you spray the tank, it doesn't dry out, and then you've got damp sand, which is probably not what they're used to either. So
yeah, like damp, cold sand will kill a gecko a lot quicker than
dry.
Yeah, dry. So like the spraying will become less like thick. It will literally just be like one. Like we got one of them automatic spray bowl things, and it's just like a light spray, real kind of thin. You wouldn't really notice it.
Yeah.
Are you changing your supplementation in the wintertime too? Like when you take the lights off, when you pull the UBB, are you increasing the D3 or are you just leave it the same?
No.
Just calcium.
No, we don't do that. We rotate our supplements, so we use 3 main supplements. So we use
we forgot about that. Well done.
So we use the Repeshe High Cal. We use the Arcadia calcium with magnesium. Really important.
And we might add a bit of pot bee pollen in with that as well.
Yeah. With the Arcadia stuff, we add bee pollen in, just because bee pollen is great for everything in our vines. And then we use the the indoor stuff.
Mineral, indoor. That really sticks well on the dust on crickets.
Yeah. So I think with using 3 different supplements, because each supplement, no matter what brand it is or whatever else, every supplement lacks in one mineral and one vitamin or whatever. So if you use like a range of like 3 different stuff and you rotate it, it ain't gonna be every week. Sometimes it'll be like
it's not a science. We just think, right, we'll use that one this time or that one this time.
Or we're running out of this one, so we use the other stuff.
Yeah.
So
it's not that, but we try to rotate the stuff.
Yeah, we try to rotate it. Sometimes you sit and think, I haven't used, like we label the tubs up different colours and be like, sometimes I've not used the black tub in ages, so we use that. And then we probably use that for like a couple of weeks and then think, we'll go back to red. What's Repeshe?
Nice.
So, we don't reduce or anything. So,
do you keep your breeders together year round, or do you separate to kind of give them a break or anything like that?
No, we've kept all ours together all year round. Okay. No real problem. I've not come across, touch wood, not come across anything with like bullying in the winter or anything like that. So
I'd get the feeling they're slightly like the ranger that kind of pair up and are happy as a couple. I don't know if I can scientifically prove that to you, but that's the impression I get with these, is that they kind of pair up and that's it. They want to stay. Or some things might, I don't know, just meet up for a very, like the Macrolepis or the Pachydactylus. I think they meet up for a very particular short space of time. Breed, and then they go their separate ways, and they're very solitary in their animal as an animal. But these, you'll always find them kind of together. so they obviously actually quite enjoy each other's company.
Yeah,
And
you're
I've actually seen one of them call the other one to find out where he is.
Nice.
So
That's awesome.
yeah,
What's that call? Can you make that call sound?
no, but yeah, yeah. I can't actually remember what the call sign was, but he actually called the female to find out where she was, and she called
Yeah.
back, and then he followed her into that flower pot. So he weren't trying to work out where she
Speak
was.
volumes about them, pair bonding. I mean, that says a lot. That's makes perfect sense. I mean, it's if you think about their environment where they probably come from in Southern Africa, they probably more successful being as small as they are, and everything else that you've explained that they do. It makes sense for them to stay together, right? They're not super nomadic. They're not traveling and going super far. They live these super slow, meditative lives almost together. It makes sense that they would live in a pair, rather than another type of gecko like your Australian knobtails that travel miles. They probably breed with different females, being that they travel such long distances rather than living in a smaller area their whole lives. It just makes more sense. Cool, interesting.
All right.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So before we kind of get out of here, I do want to, because I know we were talking in the DMs. That you guys are planning a trip, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. Where are you guys going?
So we're going to India. Yeah. So we start off in Bangor. What's down near the bottom?
Western Ghats.
Yeah, like down the bottom of India, like
Stay out
the
of the
central.
water. Don't go in the river.
No, I'd rather not. So yeah, we travel basically from Bangor, what's like the bottom part, into the Western Ghats. Spend a couple of days there.
It's a 10-day trip.
10-day trip
for 12.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and then we travel to the Western Ghats, and then we fly to
We go to
Mumbai.
we stay at Pune and a few other, about 5 different places.
8.
8?
Yeah, there's a lot. It's a lot of travelling. Like the guide, we paid for this guide, and he's just going to basically drive a car with some of his friends and take us around.
That is
all these different
exciting,
places.
man. That's exciting. I love watching videos of guys traveling through India because as chaotic as it is, it's exciting, man. There is so much happening in India at all times. I mean, it's even the wildlife. They have some of the most diverse environments and ecosystems out of anywhere on the planet. Is India. I mean, it's amazing. That's an awesome experience, man. You guys are very, very blessed, man. That's awesome. I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you said you're gonna do. You were saying you're gonna do like some documentation type of stuff. So what are you looking for when you're going out there?
yeah. We got 6 species we're targeting, so they're all Pachydactylus species.
Which were the Gecko species that have now become the Pachydactylus species. So they're the species that we're really interested in.
Yeah.
This guy's a bit of a snake man. He's more of a venomous snake man, but he's actually gone out and found them in the wild, targeted these places.
Yeah, he's like gone out and visited these stuff.
So I don't know if he's nailed them down for us or not, or just knows where the habitat is.
Those areas, right? As long as you know those areas and you can go visit those habitats. And then, I mean, still, like I said, there's not a whole lot of information on these. So any information is going to be good information for the public.
Yeah. That's so cool, man.
Well, we're going to see the Decantis, one species that we keep, actually.
Nice. Yeah.
So, and I think I was saying to you that this year is something I tried. I put the eggs through like a diapause.
Yeah.
And managed to hatch the eggs out this year, from last year.
Really?
So we've had them for over a year and we got them to hatch out.
Man, that is crazy.
So and that's like in my head just theories, because like I kept them damp, I kept them hot, I kept them cold, nothing was working. And I was like, do you know what? Chameleons, they keep them through a diapause, keep them really wet, and then you let them dry out, or vice versa. And I thought,
I think you gave them more moisture, didn't you?
No,
or did you dry them out?
I dried them out. So it'd be nice when we go to India in the wet season to see what it's like, and then talk to the guys there and say, so in the summertime, what's it like? And all of this. And like little things that I'm going to do, like, take sample readings off the soil, like get like a little thermometer stick it in the soil like 2 inches, 6
Yeah,
inches.
see what the temperature's like down there, what the humidity's like, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And you can kind
and
of
just
use
think,
that to your advantage.
yeah, and just think like do that in
Science,
like
man. That's science. You're
daytime.
contributing to science, with those studies and those, those readings, soil readings, moistures, humidity, temperatures, UV index. I mean, there's so many things there that you have the ability to document for science that people just haven't done. That is contributing to the hobby, guys. This is what we should all be admiring or inspiring to do. Go see these animals in the wild, man. Take notes, contribute to science. Awesome. I'm so excited for you too. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Watch
and
out
some
for
of
the
these
tigers,
geckos.
man. Seriously, I watched a documentary on this tiger 22. Watch his ass. Watch his ass. He's out there.
Yeah, some of the geckos that we're targeting are quite rare, almost endangered as well. It's an opportunity to see maybe geckos that we've never see in captivity.
Yeah,
It'd be great if that could change.
the Rishi
We
Valley
don't know,
ones.
the Ritchie Valley ones.
They're found in this really small area, and basically their habitat's being completely lost by housing estates.
Mhm.
So it'll be nice to actually see them and document them before they go extinct, basically.
You see, this is the trouble with CITES, you see, is okay if it's like, I don't know, some sort of monkey or a rhino. There's thousands of pounds to protect their environment. But when you go to India and you talk about this little gecko that's sort of black and grey, they think, well, what got built houses, mate? So it's sad to say that we would never see these in captivity, but we'll see them go extinct in their natural habitat because next time we go, there'll be a McDonald's and a car park.
Those are the things
Yeah.
they should
And
be
that's a
looking
shame to say that,
towards,
and I hope that isn't the case. But that's the joys of CITES, I'm afraid. If the people don't invest money, in protecting geckos, which is quite low down on CITES.
Hey, you guys have the opportunity to go out there and do this right and bring attention to an unnoticed issue. I mean that. It may sound crazy, but it's not. All it takes is someone with a passion to put the spotlight on what's really happening.
Yeah.
Things can change. You guys have that power. If you find them and you document them and document what's happening to their environment and why they need to be protected, who knows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully. This is one other thing that I found out that it's illegal to handle reptiles in India.
Really?
You have to be, yeah, I think you have to have like a license or something.
Are you
So
guys
that's gonna
working
be
on trying to get that, or no?
No.
No. Okay.
So that'll be really interesting because I can already see there'll be so many times where you're like, I want to catch this gecko, but I can't. Yeah, literally like being a kid in a sweet shop.
But you see, they've got all their licenses and all that.
Yeah.
They're recognised.
They do
quite,
like snake rescues for like king
Good
cobras.
having them with you too, man. Good, not for nothing,
Yeah,
but if
yeah.
you're out of your realm and you're not a snake person, other than Australia, they're probably right second with most dangerous species of poisonous snakes in the world. So it's probably the best type of guide you could have with you is a snake guide.
Yeah.
They actually do lectures for like the police and other services on, this they don't touch, that one's all right, kind of thing. So they do lectures on that. They write actually in the magazines, so they're quite a well-known
Awesome.
couple of guys. So that's really good.
Nice.
You feel that we're in safe hands because, wandering around in the jungle in the dark in India sounds a bit of a concern, maybe, especially to my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, tigers, I wasn't trying to joke. I mean, I was joking, but I'm serious. Tigers are a real problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are going out there.
All right.
Not even that matters. Some of these attacks, I mean, they're happening in the middle of cities and villages. I mean, they're ripping people out of their beds. I mean,
Crikey.
if you know what to look
Yeah,
for and you know how to
They got plenty of big
operate,
cats out there.
you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll see you the other side.
Like I
I
said,
hope so.
no.
I hope so.
When you
I'm
guys come
excited
back,
to see what you guys come back with the documentation. I'm super excited to hear what you guys find.
you guys come back on here for that one, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
we'll come back and
Hell
I'm going to
yeah.
try to vlog the trip. I think I'm going to do like a diary
Perfect.
entry each day.
You bought a lovely camera for it, haven't you?
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
bought a camera actually.
Nice.
Really good one.
Yeah, so I bought that and just try to document it all and have a bit of fun as well, because that's all part of it, isn't
But
it?
it is our passion, you see. So
Yeah.
because when we go on, for a day or out, we often go to a nature reserve and we'll just try and find common species of reptiles here. So it's kind of what we've been doing for years. And I've taught Jake, even when he was about 2 foot high, you started doing this. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a natural progression.
It's awesome. Good for you guys, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers.
Like I said, it's always a pleasure talking to you guys. Like I said, wish you guys all the luck in the world, finding all the species, documenting everything. Because like I said, I want to know everything, especially
Where are you guys going?
all about
When are you
these.
leaving?
Well, when we're going October,
Okay.
end of October.
So right around the corner.
Yeah, so not far off.
No.
Yeah, so we cool.
All right, well, it's coming up to the end. Like I said, appreciate you guys coming on, talking about these Pachydactylus. This was kind of a selfish episode for me, just because I'm about to get some from you guys. Need to have you guys come on, talk about them. So and then hopefully other people can be like, oh, those things sound pretty cool. I want to try to take my hand at those. And then like I said, after you guys come back from this trip and you have everything ready, you guys come on, we'll talk about it. I want to know everything that you guys found out there. If you have things you want to show off while we're on here, boom, we'll do it all. So just let us know when you're ready for that one, and we'll make sure to make that time for you guys. Other than that, I said, where can everybody find you guys again?
Yeah, so you can catch us on Instagram. That's justgeckos_UK. Or on our Facebook, was just Just Geckos. So
Okay.
Is it UK? Yeah.
There is another one.
So yeah, Facebook and our Instagram is our kind of mainstream of contact. So yeah.
Right. And then also, and you guys can ship to the US. So I've received animals from them, so they could definitely ship over here. So if you guys are interested in some, hit them up. You got, what is it, Ham coming up, right? In September? Yeah. So if you guys want something, hit them up. They can send it through Ham and work everything out.
Yeah.
All right. Anything? You got anything else, Ant?
No, I'm excited for you guys, man. Thanks for coming on. I mean, you guys are a huge asset to the hobby, working with these animals that are less known to people, the things you guys are doing to learn and gather information for the masses with these less known species. I mean, you guys play a very valuable role in this community, and I hope you guys know that. You guys are
it's a vital role.
Very, very
Definitely
important to this hobby and the information that we have. And I can't thank you enough, on the reptile hobby's behalf. I mean, it's huge what you guys do. Very,
Definitely.
very
Thank you,
appreciated.
guys.
Thank you.
Very appreciated.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's very kind
Other
of
than
you.
that,
Yeah.
everybody have a great night, morning, afternoon, whenever you're listening to this, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Stay weird, people.
See ya.
Yo, creeping in the dark, life nocturnal. Dark and dark, both paths arboreal to terrestrial. Sticky toes gripping forest students that explore. Listen close, Gecko Podcast, that's knowledge galore. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Escaping heat waves, tan under rays. Desert sand echoes, sun blazing days. Little hustlers, camouflage a maze. Catch them speaking wisdom, the wild on replay. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Sculling through the leaves, shadows unseen. Master of the skies, chameleon dream. Lizard tails flip, script getting clean. Gecko Exchange, true reptile fiends. Reptile talk, host Anthony and Jason. Trade secrets flow, no time wasted. From tropics to town, it's sight raining. With every chat, reptile game changing. Scuttling through the leaves, shadows unseen. Master of disguise.